Hi, I'm with Grant Norsworthy.
Go.
Grant, you're from up in Moottree of all
Yeah,
places.
that's where I live.
Now, you're in Christchurch for what reason?
Well, I do an itinerant ministry work called More Than Music Mentor. People can find out more about that at morethanmusicmentor.com, but I provide online and on-site training for the heart and the art of worshipping musicians.
Wow, that's exciting. Who are you working with?
A bunch of different churches here in Christchurch while I'm here for 11 days, in particular within the Anglican umbrella, working with St Barnabas and with St Tim's and some other great people who have connected with this over the journey.
Awesome. So what kinds of things are you teaching them?
Well, it seems to me, Mark, that there's actually quite a bit of confusion in the church about what it means to worship God. So I'm trying to help us with some clarity there. I'm an Australian bass player, so it's got to be basic. To me, to worship God is to show the worth of God. And every moment of every day gives us a chance to worship God. But in particular with More Than Music Mentor, within that context of a full life surrendered in worship, we realise that our gathering together, typically Sunday morning, and the music within those gatherings is extremely important. These are important expressions of worship. So More Than Music Mentor then moves from that big question of what is worship to how do we craft a sound that helps our congregation worship God through these songs more effectively.
I'd be first to agree that worship is at the heart of the Christian experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I like to think that everything we do in response to the gospel, as we respond as humans to who Jesus is, that's what we could call our worship. What shows the worth of God.
So here's one. Give us the top 3 challenges / problems that worship teams face that could be fixed kind of easily.
Wow, so we're talking about the singers, instrumentalists, the technicians who serve a particular church. Sometimes there's a real confusion about what we're trying to achieve.
Okay.
So it's great to get people on the same page, that our role as singers, instrumentalists and technicians is to invite our congregations to sing these songs, sing these prayers to God, praises of God, reminders of truth about God. Let's get on the same page with that. The worship of God is a full life response, and within that, we highly value our congregations singing these prayers to God together as one of the expressions of worship. When we have agreement there, then things like what sort of songs should we choose? What key should they be in? How should we arrange the instrumentation? How should the mix sound? Those sort of things start solving themselves once we have that agreement on the big reason why we have music in the gathering in the first place.
Okay, so once we get that agreement, what's 1 or 2 other things that we could get right which would really improve our worship on a Sunday morning?
Well, I think once you've chosen an appropriate song, and you've got to think about the lyrical content there. Is this the sort of lyric that is helpful for our congregation to be singing? Then we've got to realise we want songs that are singable by Jack and Jill average congregants, because someone with a microphone considers themselves a singer. And we might enjoy singing songs that are a bit tough for Jack and Jill congregant. So we've got to choose songs that are singable, present them in a way that is singable. And then those of us who have microphones, we've got to sing a really straight, simplified version of the melody so that we're really saying to people, don't listen to me. I'm not performing for you. I'm just showing you how the song goes. So we've got to have this mindset of we are there to invite the congregation to join the band and sing as an expression of worship to God, and put out of our minds any thought that we are performing for a quasi sort of audience. We're all one group of people singing to God. He's the audience in a mysterious way.
Okay, yeah, I totally agree. What about the key? The key and the range.
Right.
That can be frustrating sometimes.
Sure can. I believe it's absolutely possible to show the worth of God, or even worship God in that sense, with an amazing vocal performance. Going high, going low, showing all the embellishments that are possible, but it's actually very hard for a congregation to follow that. So we really want, if we are focusing on getting the congregation singing, I would strongly advocate for making the melody fall between C and C. That's middle C to 1 octave above, C4 to C5 for those who know music theory, for women and children, and between C3 and C4 for the men. And so we're going to have the melody being sung 2 notes of the melody, a male register and a female register. And we can break the rule a little bit. We can go as low as A or as high as D, perhaps just for a moment. But if you really want the congregation to sing with you rather than listen to you, you'll choose a song where the melody falls between as close to C as you can.
Thank you for that. That's great advice. How does worship, how does that link with the mission of the church? I'm all about mission, you see.
Oh, I see, Mark. All right, yeah. Well, it probably depends on how you think of the word worship. I think a lot of people who are watching this video might think of worship as being what the team of musicians do on a Sunday morning. But I'd ask us to think bigger than that, because the terms worship band, worship leader, worship song, excuse my rabbit ear fingers, worship experience, worship service, they're actually not in the Bible. I don't think the word worship should be thought of as an adjective, especially too closely linked to the musical expression of worship. To me, the worship of God is a full life response. Every moment of every day is a chance to worship God. And Romans 12:1 tells us to offer ourselves as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, and let that be your spiritual, reasonable, intelligent act of worship. So within the context of a life surrendered in worship, then missions, spreading the gospel, making disciples, caring for the poor, these are valuable expressions of worship. This is where these concepts relate. You know, if the Christian church was a wheel with spokes, sometimes we think of missions as being one of the spokes, and maybe the Sunday school program is one of the spokes, and our food pantry as being one of the spokes, and worship as being one of the spokes.
Yeah.
No, I think that the worship of God, showing the worth of God, should be the hub of the wheel.
Yeah, yeah.
And the way we spread the gospel, the way we make disciples, the way we show the mission of the Christian church must spring from the hub.
Sure.
That in every moment of every day we want to
Right.
worship God.
Thank you so much, Grant. That's a high point to stop.
All right.
I wish you well in your ministry.
Thank you. I hope people will contact me through morethanmusicmentor.com or through Facebook. I'm sitting up there in Upper Moutere, top of the South Island, hoping to serve the Christian church any way I
Okay,
can.
that's awesome. Thank you, Grant. God bless.